If our money was backed by gold, inflation wouldn't be eating my savings faster than I eat pizza on a Saturday night binge.
Yeah, but you want every dollar tied to a shining rock? What's next? Paying rent in doubloons?
At least gold has intrinsic value. Unlike, Bitcoin?
Oh, here we go, the digital gold debate. Next, you'll tell me your NFT collection is an investment.
Hey, did you know that before 1971, the US dollar was actually backed by gold?
Right, but that was a different time. Today's interconnected economies need flexibility.
True, but with fiat, inflation can just run wild. In 2021 alone, the US saw inflation rates hit 7%, the highest in decades.
Okay, but gold isn't exactly a stable investment either. It fluctuates in value just like stocks or crypto.
Fair point. But gold has been a store of value for thousands of years, unlike Bitcoin, which is still figuring itself out.
And yet, Bitcoin has a market cap of almost $2 trillion. That's not too shabby for a digital rock.
I guess it's all about perspective. But I still wouldn't mind having some gold bars in my closet.
And I'll stick to my digital assets. But hey, let's agree to disagree while we enjoy our pizza.
Gold, Bitcoin, fiat. Money's complicated. But what if we actually return to gold-backed currency? Let's dive in.
The age-old debate. Gold-backed money versus our good old fiat currency. It's like arguing over pineapple on pizza. Everyone's got an opinion. But is returning to gold really the economic solution we need? Or just a glittery daydream? Let's break it down. Grab your coffee, because this is going to be a golden ride. The gold standard was a monetary system where the value of a country's currency was directly tied to a specific amount of gold. Think of it like a receipt for gold stored in a vault, except instead of a receipt, you had cash. It dates back centuries, but the modern gold standard really kicked off in the 19th century. Countries agreed to fix their currencies to gold, creating a stable international system. Trade was smoother, and inflation? Practically non-existent. Sounds great, right? But wait, there's a catch. The gold standard limited how much money a government could print. No gold, no new money. It was strict, like that one teacher who never let you turn in homework late. Supporters loved its discipline. No reckless spending or debt spirals. Critics? Well, they argued it was too rigid, choking economic growth when more money was needed. So, while the gold standard shimmered with promise, its glitter often came with a price. To understand the gold standard, we need to take a trip back in time. Don't worry, no need for a time machine, just stay with me. The idea of using gold as money isn't new. Ancient civilizations like the Egyptians and Romans loved gold not just for jewelry, but as a reliable store of value. Fast forward to the 19th century, when countries around the world adopted the gold standard formally. Why? Because tying currencies to gold brought stability, especially for international trade. Then came the early 20th century, and things got complicated. World War I forced many countries to abandon the gold standard temporarily. Wars are expensive, and printing money is easier than mining gold. After the war, the world tried to return to gold, but economic instability made it tough. The Great Depression in the 1930s, that was the final straw for many countries. And yet, gold wasn't done. Enter the Bretton Woods system in 1944. The US dollar was pegged to gold, and other currencies were pegged to the dollar. A global gold standard, kind of. But by 1971, President Nixon said, "No more." The US abandoned the gold standard, and we entered the era of fiat money, currency backed by trust, not metal. So, History shows us that while the gold standard had its moments of glory, it also faced serious challenges. When Nixon took the US off the gold standard in 1971, many thought this could spell disaster for the US dollar. After all, without gold backing it, wouldn't trust in the currency collapse? Surprisingly, that didn't happen. The US dollar remains the world's reserve currency even today, despite being backed by nothing more than the strength of the US economy, global confidence, and, well, a bit of luck. This shift gave the US government flexibility to print money as needed, but it also opened the door to inflation and debt, problems we're still wrestling with today. So, while leaving gold behind could have sunk the dollar, it instead cemented its place as the cornerstone of global finance, for better or worse. So, why exactly did we ditch the gold standard? The short answer: it became a straitjacket for a growing, complex economy. In the decades after World War II, the global economy expanded rapidly, but the amount of gold, not so much. Imagine trying to run a marathon in tight jeans. That's what the gold standard felt like for the economy. Governments needed flexibility to respond to economic crises, fund infrastructure, and stimulate growth. But under the gold standard, they could only issue as much money as their gold reserves allowed. No gold, no cash. This lack of flexibility became painfully obvious during the Great Depression and later the Vietnam War, when the US needed to spend big. The gold standard was holding them back. The US wasn't the first to leave gold behind, but the 1970s marked the end of an era. After Nixon's decision in 1971, most of the world followed suit, making the 1970s the last major chapter of the gold standard. Ultimately, the US had to choose between economic growth and sticking to gold. Nixon's decision in 1971, growth won. And while that decision opened doors for monetary policy, it also left us with the challenges we face today: inflation, deficits, and an economy running on promises rather than precious metals. So, should we bring back the gold standard? Supporters say yes, and they've got some solid arguments. First, stability. With gold backing every dollar, inflation could be kept in check. No more printing endless money and hoping for the best. Supporters argue that inflation erodes savings. Under a gold standard, your money's value would remain stable over time, protecting everyday people from the slow theft of inflation. Second, fiscal discipline. Governments would have to live within their means. No more piling up trillions in debt like it's going out of style. Every dollar printed would need gold backing, forcing accountability in spending. Third, trust. A gold-backed dollar would be harder to manipulate, restoring confidence in the currency. Investors and foreign governments might flock back to the dollar, knowing it's tied to something real. And let's not forget, gold is universally valued. Unlike fiat money, which is only worth something because governments say so, gold has intrinsic value, making it a safe haven during economic crises. Finally, supporters believe a gold standard could prevent hyperinflation and reckless monetary policies, providing a stable foundation for long-term economic growth. But before you start digging for gold in your backyard, let's hear the other side of the argument. Now, let's talk about why many economists say bringing back the gold standard would be, well, a golden mistake. First up, rigidity. A gold standard limits the supply of money to the amount of gold available. This might sound good in theory, but in reality, it could stifle economic growth. Imagine a growing economy being held back just because there isn't enough gold in vaults. Then there's the issue of deflation. With limited money supply, prices could spiral downward during economic downturns. Sounds nice at first, cheaper stuff. But deflation also means lower wages, higher debts, and sluggish economic activity. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Gold supply isn't evenly distributed. Countries with large gold reserves, like the United States and Russia, would hold enormous power, while others could struggle. Talk about an uneven playing field. Critics also highlight the enormous cost of returning to gold. Imagine trying to back trillions of dollars in circulation with gold. It would either bankrupt countries or require massive, painful economic adjustments. Finally, flexibility matters. Modern economies need dynamic monetary policies, adjusting interest rates, printing money when necessary, to respond to crises like pandemics or recessions. A gold standard takes away that flexibility. So, while a gold-backed dollar sounds shiny and secure, critics argue it would be impractical, expensive, and even dangerous in today's fast-paced world economy. If we measured wealth purely by gold reserves, the richest countries in the world would look quite familiar. According to the latest data, the United States holds the largest gold reserves globally, over 8,000 tons of the shiny stuff. So, even in a gold-backed world, the US would still reign supreme. Other top holders include Germany, Italy, and France, countries with strong historical ties to gold. And let's not forget Russia and China, both of which have been steadily increasing their gold reserves in recent years. In this alternative universe where gold equals economic power, these countries would dominate global finance. But thankfully, modern economics is more than just vaults full of metal bars. In today's digital world, some argue that Bitcoin is the new gold. But how do these two compare? Gold has been valued for millennia. It's tangible, scarce, and universally recognized. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is digital, decentralized, and capped at 21 million coins. Supporters of Bitcoin say it offers all the benefits of gold: scarcity, store of value, and protection from inflation, but with added perks like easy transfer and no need for physical storage. Bitcoin's decentralized nature means no central bank can print more of it or manipulate its supply. It's controlled by code, not policymakers. And let's not forget, Bitcoin has already become a hedge against inflation for many investors, earning the nickname digital gold. However, Bitcoin's volatility is no joke. Its price swings make gold look like a stable old grandpa. Still, as global trust in fiat currencies wavers, Bitcoin is gaining ground. Could it replace gold in the digital age? Some think so. If we ever return to a gold standard, could Bitcoin be part of the equation? Some think a hybrid system could emerge, combining the stability of gold with the innovation of digital currencies. One thing's clear: whether it's gold bars or digital wallets, the debate over what backs our money isn't going away anytime soon. So, should we return to the gold standard? It's a debate as old as modern economics itself. Gold offers stability, discipline, and trust, but at the cost of flexibility and growth. Fiat money gives governments room to maneuver, but opens the door to inflation and reckless spending. And then there's Bitcoin, a wild card that challenges everything we know about money. Digital, decentralized, and disruptive. Maybe the future isn't about choosing one over the other, but finding a balance. Or maybe, just maybe, money will keep evolving in ways we can't even imagine yet. What do you think? Should we go back to gold, stick with fiat, or embrace Bitcoin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into economics, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, visit moneysmylife.com to earn hundreds in bank bonuses and explore high APY rates. Your wallet will thank you.